Now that we've got our block model of the spoke, we want to add some fillets to it. So the first fillet we need is this edge here. So let's isolate the spoke. So we're going to pick all of the objects on the spoke layer, and then under Object Display, hide unselected, get rid of everything else temporarily. So we're going to use Surface Fillet. I'm going to pick that surface and that surface, and then hit the space bar. So there we've got a very good match on both sides in terms of the continuity. We've got curvature continuity on both sides. Let's put the CVs on, and we'll take the shading off. Now we should be able to get away with fewer surfaces than that because we've got only degree 5 in this direction. So if we go into explicit control and change the degree along the fillet to 7, we've now got only 3 surfaces instead, which is even better. There is a slight problem though. On the left hand side we've got the surface trimmed out because the fillet extends to the very end, but on the right hand side it doesn't quite extend to the end. And the reason for that is that in here, where it says flow control, we've got at the start the default condition where it's taking one end as the stop point for that fillet and then stopping short of this edge on this surface. So what we can do is change that to extend, and because we've got auto update on down here, that's actually automatically updating the geometry as we go along. So on the lower end, let's try that as well. So that's extended it. It's kept the curvature match on this side, but on this side we've lost even position. But we should be able to fix that. It's only one area, the rest of them are all continuous there. So what we're going to do on this end is we're going to trim this back to this point and then match that in and then extend it back out again. So to trim that back we can go into Insert. So we're going to create a curve on surface. So starting from this end here we can just freely move that around, and then if we use Control and Alt on this edge we can snap to exactly that end point, and we go with the space bar. So that's created a curve on surface there. Now we want to detach that surface at that curve on surface, so we can move that. So we're using detach, we can move this freely around. Again we can use Control and Alt on this curve on surface here and then press the space bar, and we've now got 2 patches where there was 1. So if we delete that surface there, so now we need to align this to the left hand side here, and that's aligned. You will find when you do your version of this that you'll get different problems to solve. So we're now going to extend that fillet out, and it's still matched on both sides, so that's fine. We don't need to worry about trimming that back. We could do if we wanted to, but it's not necessary because later on we're going to trim everything. All we want to do is get rid of this curve on surface because that will cause a problem, otherwise it'll try and trim to it at some point. And if we shade that up, we've now got our trimmed surfaces on both sides. What we should also do is just check that the continuity between these fillets is correct. I'm going to put on G2 continuity, but in practice G1 would be enough in most cases. So that's all in fact curvature aligned there in any case. We want to see what that spoke looks like when we rotate it, so we're going to pick those fillet surfaces there, and then we're going to use Edit, Duplicate, and use Object with Instance on, like we've done many times before. So let's just tidy that up a bit. So if we go into Delete Locators, just get rid of all of that, and we can get rid of all these CVs here. If we go into Object Display, Control, go into the box there, take off CVs on all, and then press Go, and that just gets rid of everything. And we'll also bring back the other geometry, so we can say Object Display Visible, and that will show us everything else. And if you want to get a really good impression of the whole wheel now, we can press F12, which shows it without the edges on.